Good afternoon, all. So probably this is the last session before lunch. Probably you will be eagerly waiting for this session to end. Jokes apart, I represent Ahana Systems and Solutions. We have been associated with the BFSX sector for more than 15 years. So unlike where a lot of applications have been presented, which are more customer-facing applications, we work on the backbone, that is the IT, as well as the MIS team, which is the backbone for report generation. Okay. And during the course of our 15 years of experience working with various BFSI sector banks, cooperative banks, and other banks, we have learned a lot in terms of the difficulties faced by the MIS team, particularly in a banking sector. So today I will be explaining about some of the products which Ahana has developed during the course of our 15 years of experience. Yeah, even before presenting, I would like to call upon our domain as well as industry expert, Mr. O'Neill, on the stage. During the course of development of our product, we have taken a lot of advice and expertise from Mr. O'Neill in terms of developing our product. And I would like to hand over to O'Neill to speak about RBI supervisory reports, and then let me explain about our product, which is going to align with RBI mandatory requirements. Over to O'Neill.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is O'Neill, and I have been and also working as a CIO for cooperative banks. And a couple of months back, Ahana had approached me and were requesting if I could present their product in Pune, which of course I can't do. So I just remembered one incident that had happened during one of our RBI audits, where the RBI auditors, after about 4 days of audit, came to me and said, we want to thank you for support during the audit. So in what way? So they said, many a times when we request for data from cooperative banks, specifically cooperative banks, it takes almost 3 to 4 days for them to submit this data, which is required for audit during that process. And many a times it's not complete, inaccurate, and this is a huge challenge. And what we have experienced in your bank is, when we ask for data, your team has been able to submit this data within 1 hour, and which is also accurate. So this incident just came in my mind, and at that time they said, why don't you share your story to other cooperative banks as to how you achieved this? And that's when I took this opportunity when Ahana approached me that let me represent our solution, not the solution, but the experience over here as to how we were able to do that. And going through that, I would just like to talk about the master directions from RBI for supervisory filings. So somewhere in August 2023, RBI had come with a press release where they said that they would be coming up with master directions for supervisory filings, because there was a lot of confusions when they started asking for data. The data from different banks would come in different formats, inaccurate, incomplete, and they said we will come up with master directions that will standardize how the supervisory filings will happen. And that is when in February 2024, master directions were released, and there were clear instructions given in the master directions. It's a 47-page master direction, so what I did was I have tried to compress it in simple points so that the management and the board of directors that are sitting here also understand in a simple way. Over there in the master directions, they have clearly spoken about what the board of directors role play is there and what is their expectations. Now, that brings to realization that after this release of master directions, urban cooperative banks typically who are very slow to adopt these master directions or deploy the master directions, there is a huge gap. Right? Things like ad hoc reports. Everybody must have experience. RBI will send an email say at 12 o'clock and say, I want data by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. It's not possible today for many banks. It's just not possible because the bank's readiness is not there. They don't know how to achieve this, how to get that data so accurately. Most of the banks today, I can tell you, are still submitting data based on queries in the database. Some of their DBAs will run some query, pull data, put it in some Excel format and send it. And if the same data is asked after 6 months, some other DBA will come, run his query, pull data, mismatch in the data, or the format is wrong, the data quality is bad. And this is what has been RBI's observations. Now, what does this lead to? If your returns are not in time, they are inaccurate or not filed, RBI has their options. The implication is simple, penalties. As of now, I have not heard of any bank being penalized for this, but in future, this is possible. So, how do we address this? If you read this master direction, you can search on Google or whatever search engine you have, you just search for RBI supervisory returns or filings, master directions, you will get that document. In that document, they have very clearly given directions as to how do we do this, how the cooperative banks should adopt this master direction and apply the solutions. I have just put that in simple 8 points out here. That 47-page document I have very simply, probably everybody would like to have this. What they say is, you should ensure that your digital infrastructure, the data architecture, should support on-demand data extraction, which means all your system data should be readily available to extract that data as and when required. Then there should be a proper roles and responsibilities. The board of directors has their responsibilities in terms of supervisory filing. Management has their own. Typically, most of the time, IT is asked to send the data. IT is not the one. IT are enablers. But the business unit have to confirm that data. And these mechanisms are to be put in your systems and the processes. Another problem is, are your infrastructure able to handle the stress situation, crisis situation? Typically, during audit, during your budget planning, during a board meeting, are you able to provide the data required in a very short time? How do we enable that? Then, the most problematic statement, accuracy of the data, completeness of the data. And if you read the directions, master directions, they have very clearly defined which report has to be filed when, weekly, fortnightly, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, yearly, very well defined. Can we have automated schedule for such reports so that automatically they are available and just submitted? You know, this kind of mechanism is what RBI is also expecting. Bigger problem, compliance department or the IT department would submit this data, but this data, has that been reconciled by accounts department? Has somebody confirmed whatever figures that have come in? Are they accurate? Are they based on exactly what our system says? There is no process. And that is where the automation part comes in. RBI expect, rather than doing all this manual work of reconciling manually every time, checking the data every time, looking at whether it is complete or not complete, can we automate this entire process so that it is much faster and smoother, right? And of course, whatever you do, so typically whatever solutions available from industry, they would have applied some logic. They could have extracted data from different sources, okay, tables. That has to be documented very well. Because when RBI would come for audit, they will ask for such documents. What is your source? How do we confirm that the data that you are providing is not manipulated and it is original to the source? So all those documentation is also required and systematically presentable, available whenever required. And at the same time, you should have a monitoring system and escalation matrix to ensure the data quality maintained in your core systems are accurate. Many times, the date of birth, the PAN card, Aadhaar card data, the PI data specifically, they are not accurate. So do you have a mechanism within your system, within your organization to monitor and control those things? And that's what the entire, in short nutshell, the master direction says. So I thought I would just present that from my part, and I will hand over to Cheda to take forward this presentation from Ahana side. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Let me take a leaf out of the previous presentation done by. Let me try to make it more interactive as well. I think in the audience, some of you are from the MIS team, and those who are responsible for generating and furnishing the report and submitting the report on time. So if I ask you a question, so you all have experience of more than maybe a decade or more than 20 years. If I ask you a question, what is the average time you take for report generation as well as report submission? So probably during 2015, those period of time, probably you would have taken more than 1 week or 10 days or 15 days for generating the report and accumulating all the data, generating the report and submitting to the bank. I think in one of our case, we made it possible that for one of our associated bank, where the report generation, the entire MIS report generation was taking more than 20 days, we just reduced it to 8 hours. That is the experience. That is the experience we learned, and we adopted that experience in building a platform. Let me explain about that platform. And as Onil said, there is also a direction from RBI, and they have given a clear guideline about how the infrastructure has to be and how a bank should have an infrastructure, and they attempt to create a single source of truth. When I say single source of truth, so if I take one problem statement and explain that, so probably in all the banks, be it tier 1 banks as well as cooperative banks, whatever it is, so the customer facing applications or the business facing applications, they are independent. So if you take the example of core banking system, loan originating system, or LMS, or card management, treasury systems, they are all independent systems, as you know. And they do not talk to each other, which means the data present with them are completely silo and they do not talk to each other. However, you are supposed to generate MIS reports as well as ad hoc reports, which you are supposed to submit to your own management, wherein which you will have two problems to attack. One is you have to integrate the data from various systems, because you need that. If I take the example of your ALM report, or else your CASA DD report, or any other report which needs data from multiple systems, how do you do? So it is very, very difficult, and it is going to be a time-consuming activity, wherein which you have to take the dump of the data in various different formats, do a lot of manual messaging, and combine that into a proper reporting. That is the most difficult part of your MIS reporting. And if I go to another aspect of your MIS reporting, wherein which your front-end systems, they are so designed that they do not preserve the history data. That is very, very important. Wherein which most of your MIS reports may also require historical data to be represented, right? So that is also one of the difficulty associated with reporting system. Keeping all this in mind, so one more thing is that, so most of the banks, how they solve this problem, they are going to solve this problem by having a conventional reporting system. We call it as a data warehouse that comes with the facility of having integrating the data as well as history preservation. However, so with your experience, you would have observed that it will take a typical implementation cycle of more than 8 months to 18 months to build a data warehouse. So that itself is a demoralizing factor for small banks to implement a data warehouse. Okay, that is also one of the problem statement. So with this all in mind, we have built a comprehensive solution. We call it as an enterprise grade solution, wherein which we have built a single platform wherein which all the components and associated with data be it integrating the data from various systems, as well as integrating the data from various systems, as well as history preservation, and also creating a ETL layer. Everything we have built on a single platform, and at each and every stage, this platform is bringing a automation. Because of the automation, your implementation cycle is also going to reduce. If I just move on to the next slide. Yeah, so if I concentrate on this slide, whatever I was just explaining about integrating all the components associated with the data warehouse, like having data integration, a data mapper, everything is built on a single platform. Let me just present that. So this is a platform wherein which we have a database connector which connects to various source systems like be it your Oracle FlexCube or Finacle. So this platform has the ability to connect to any of the core banking system or else your homegrown core banking system as well. And you don't have to worry about a data model. Our data model is agnostic and it is transparent to all the source systems. So therefore, since it is transparent to the changes in the source systems, and this data model is very easily implementable. So this is going to shrink your implementation cycle from 10 months to just 1 or 2 months as a typical implementation cycle. And most importantly is that in this platform, it is not only about consuming the data or presenting the data, we also have a reporting solution which can produce the report at the click of a button. And apart from reporting solution, we also have a dashboard, a basic dashboard, which can work on certain key important KPIs, and you can generate a dashboard with the click of a button. So if I take certain examples, so these are all the dashboards which has been generated on the representative data. It is not a real data. It has been generated on the representative data. So it is a loan portfolio overview. Similarly, if I move on to the next one, so a deposit portfolio overview, and the one which has been generated as a CRR compliance monitoring, all these reports were generated by taking KPIs from your Form B report. So this is the end product. In the sense, so these reports can be generated with the click of a button. So just like earlier, so spending a lot of time on combining the data, manual massaging of the data is completely eliminated. Yeah, these are all very informative, wherein which, since it is an enterprise-grade application, we have brought in certain security controls as well, so that, so if there are 40 to 50 users, they can see their own data, not universal data is visible to everyone. If I move on to the next slide. So this is the benefits which you are going to derive. So as I was explaining, so your typical implementation cycle is going to reduce from 10 months to probably 1 or 2 months. And apart from that, other benefits are that, other benefits related to reporting is that it's a unified platform where you can have both MIS reporting, ad hoc reporting, and other form of dashboards as well. And this we have implemented very recently in one of the banks in Maharashtra. So may I call upon Ms. Jigna just to explain and share their experience briefly. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm CA Jigna Vipul Patil, serving as Chief Manager of MIS Department at Basin Catholic Cooperative Bank, Vasai. Well, it's my privilege to share our bank's journey towards the successful implementation of data warehouse and ADF reporting. To start with, in April 2023, we successfully migrated from our old legacy system to Oracle FlexCube. While this transition had marked a significant milestone, there were many problems, operational problems along with that. Like we were not able to monitor performance of branches, then we were not able to track transactions, even we were not able to fetch certain reports which were required for day-to-day operational banking. So to overcome this, we had our in-house reporting portal was being developed. And in this portal, we were able to download reports only of EOD and EOM database, like for end of day and end of month. This brought again a limitation as we were not able to generate backdated reports. That was due to FlexCube system where data used to get overwritten and the latest data used to be there in the tables. The table structure of FlexCube system was as such. So to overcome this, here Ahana solution came into picture as we wanted to implement a data warehouse. Along with their airflow based data pipelines and our in-house technical domain knowledge, we were able to build a robust data warehouse where we had integrated multiple databases like treasury, then OBDX, retail, corporate into a single data repository for ease of reporting. The entire process was fully automated and eliminating manual work, significantly improving the data accuracy, consistency, and integrity. Along with that, along with their technical support, the solution was deployed on Oracle Analytics Server. Through this, we were able to build ADF reports in RBI template. Now we are able to fetch the reports as per the frequency, like fortnight, quarterly, monthly, whatever the frequency is, we are able to download the reports directly in RBI template from this solution. So recently, I'll share one when Form 15G and 15H was replaced by Form 121, we had developed and implemented this Form 121 within a fraction of, like we can say, a couple of hours. In couple of hours, we were able to develop this report and we had deployed for customers. So to conclude, with this successful implementation of data warehouse supported by Ahana solution, has addressed critical gaps and strengthened the bank's reporting capabilities. This initiative helped automated, accurate, and timely reporting. It ensured regulatory compliance and provided a unified data platform for decision making. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagana. Yeah, as a concluding remark, we have set up a booth in booth number 39. So we are more than willing to give a demonstration. We have a demo setup. So if you like, we can visit our booth at 39 where we will have a detailed demonstration about our solution. Thank you all. So if there is any question I would like to take up on. Thank you.